A couple running backs entered the transfer portal for Oklahoma or from Oklahoma. What does it mean for the running back room? We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Again, thanks for making Locked On Sooners your first listen every single day. Shout out to all the everydayers out there. Jay Smith, John Williams, running back portals. We got Caleb Hicks, Emeka Megwa entering the transfer portal, a combined 6 carries between the two of them over the last 2 years. Caleb Hicks with 5 carries for 25 yards, Emeka Megwa with 1 carry for 6 yards. 2 guys that I think everybody was hoping to see a little bit more of at different times throughout their time with the Oklahoma Sooners, but never able to really get on the field for a multitude of reasons. For Caleb Hicks, I think he just got buried on the depth chart for whatever reason. And it shocks me a little bit because this year would have been a great year to put him out there and just see what you could get when you did have so much running back inconsistency. With Emeka Megwa, injuries were a part of his issue as well. But what do you make of these 2 guys entering the transfer portal, Jay?
Yeah, it hurt your boys' feelings seeing that we had both Emeka Megwa and Caleb Hicks both hit the portal, because Megwa is one that I was very excited about because he was a young, big back that transferred in from Washington. He came in with injury problems. He had an injury in high school, went to Washington. He forgoed his senior year in high school, enrolled early at Washington, and went there to try to rehab, but didn't ended up. I think he went up there and re-injured it, left, was back home rehabbing, and then he walked on to Oklahoma last year. You're like, who the heck is this dude, right? But then from there, he actually is involved in a lawsuit of Kalen DeBoer and University of Washington because he felt like he was rushed back. Came here and was rehabbing it up, and he got to run one time against TCU, and I was like, ooh, maybe Meg was feeling better. We're going to see some more this season. Well, we didn't, and now it looks like he was a casualty of the 105 number that we're going to be hearing a lot of, and that saddened me because at 6'1", 220 pounds coming out of high school, I was like, man, that's a big boy. And I thought that he would have been a fun running back to look at. We talk about Xavier Robinson. Megwa was the first one to me that at that size, I thought we were going to get something special out of because he's also a track kid. But because of his injuries, yeah, you didn't get to actually see it. Now, Caleb Hicks, I agree with you 100%. I thought Caleb Hicks was going to be it would have been interesting to see him play. He was a part of that 2023 class. And I was like, okay, there's a good chance that he can come in, get an opportunity to play. He was sought after by a lot of big programs, but he was still only a very low-rated 3-star. I think he's like 500th in the country or something. And so it's kind of interesting, but he's coming from Denton Ryan down there in Texas, so he's not far away. And I was like, man, he has a nice stout body, 5'11", like 200 something pounds. And I was hoping that, like you said, John, perfectly, this was the year that we should have the opportunity to see him play, see what he looks like and see what he's made of, especially with all the injuries we dealt with. And we got him for 1 game and have not seen him since. So I'm surprised, honestly, he didn't transfer last year, but I thought that, okay, he's going to ride it out and see what happens. And then when Tatum as well as Xavier Robinson really passed him in the chart, you're like, yeah, he's probably not going to play. So once again, another possibility and what if hitting the portal. But this is something you're going to expect. This is not going to be the last episode, and me and John's going to be talking about the portals because there's a lot of guys hitting the portal over the next few days.
And so just looking at the potential running back depth chart for the Oklahoma Sooners in 2025, there's a possibility that Javonte Barnes or Gavin Sawchuk are back. You've got Xavier Robinson, you got Taylor Tatum, and then you're bringing in Torrey Blaylock. So your running back room looks pretty solid moving forward without Caleb Hicks, without Emeka Megwa.
Yeah, you got the Sawchucks, you got Gavin and then his walk-on brother Gabe. Then, of course, Barnes, X-Rob, Taylor Tatum. You probably still got some other walk-on players that are still kind of in the backfield. But, John, I am curious. If I'm going to have to predict one, I am thinking that the Sawchucks are going to hit the portal next. And I only say that because it looks like Tatum and X-Rob have moved up to the front of the pecking order, and they'll be the ones really leading things. Because it totally makes sense for them to be the ones to be your two backs, especially as productive as Xavier Robinson was against Alabama. There's no reason why he should not probably be your lead back and have a Thunder and Lightning setup with him and Taylor Tatum. Xavier Robinson can catch out the backfield too. We watched him bobble a catch and bring it in and run somebody over and keep going. There's no reason to even look past that. Sawchuk just never got himself going the way we would liked, and Javonte Barnes dealing with a couple of injuries this season. I could see at the end of the day, you end up with Barnes, Xavier Robinson, Sawchuk, and then Torrey Blaylock.
Tatum, you mean, and not Sawchuk.
As far as the portal?
No, you said Sawchuk.
Taylor Tatum. I'm sorry. Taylor Tatum.
So, yeah, I agree. I think if you're going to keep one of your veterans, it's probably going to be Barnes just because he's had the more consistent production for you. He spent 2023 very much injured, dealing with a bunch of lingering issues, but then came back in 2024 and just showed the effort that you need out of that position. And you're going to need some leadership on the offensive side of the ball if you're going to be kind of young. Who knows what the wide receiver room is going to look like? Who knows what the quarterback room is going to look like? The offensive line, you've got a veteran like Troy Everett that can help provide some leadership, but you're going to need that from Javonte Barnes. So we'll see what that's going to look like for Oklahoma, but at least with Xavier Robinson and Taylor Tatum and then Torrey Blaylock, you got three young guys that are going to be very productive players at the University of Oklahoma down the road. Hopefully Barnes returns to provide, again, some leadership to that group. What are some big-time portal needs that the Oklahoma Sooners are going to have to address in the portal? We'll discuss coming up next here on Locked On Sooners.